Welcome back to Narrative Network. What happens when a little boy meets his newborn sister for the first time and says something so unexpected it leaves his parents speechless? This heartwarming story is filled with love, surprises, and a lesson about the unbreakable bond of family. You won't want to miss the moment that changes everything for this family forever. Stay until the end to hear the incredible words that stunned everyone and see how this beautiful story unfolds. What do you think he said? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Let's dive in. Tom and Laura Carter were overjoyed when they found out they were expecting another child. The couple, who had adopted their son Ben 5 years ago, had always dreamed of growing their family. Ben, now 7, was the light of their lives. A curious, kind-hearted boy who filled their home with laughter and endless questions. But the Carters' journey to parenthood hadn't been easy. After years of struggling with infertility, they had decided to adopt. When they met Ben, a wide-eyed toddler with a contagious giggle, they knew instantly he was meant to be their son. Now, with Laura pregnant for the first time, their family's story was taking a new turn. But there was an important detail they hadn't yet shared with Ben. The baby's appearance might be different than what he expected. As Laura's belly grew, Ben became increasingly fascinated by the idea of having a sibling. "Will the baby like dinosaurs like me?" he asked one day, pressing his ear to Laura's stomach. "Maybe," Laura replied with a laugh. "You'll have to teach her all about them." "Her?" Ben's eyes widened. "It's a girl?" Tom nodded. "You're going to have a little sister, buddy." Ben beamed, already imagining the adventures they would have together. But the Carters were aware of one potential challenge. Ben, who was white like his adoptive parents, might be surprised when he met his biological sister, who would have Laura's black features. Tom and Laura decided to have an open and honest conversation with Ben. One evening, Tom sat Ben down for a talk. "Ben, you know how everyone looks a little different, right?" "Like how I have blue eyes and Mom has brown?" Ben asked. "Exactly," Tom said. "Well, your sister will look a bit different too. She'll have darker skin, like Mom. But what matters most is how much we love each other, not how we look." Ben tilted his head, processing this information. "So, she'll look like Mom?" Laura joined the conversation, kneeling beside Ben. "Yes, sweetie. But she's going to need her big brother to show her the world and protect her. Do you think you can do that?" Ben nodded confidently. "I'll be the best big brother ever." The day finally arrived when Laura went into labor. Tom took her to the hospital while Ben stayed with his grandparents, eagerly awaiting news. Hours later, Tom called to say the baby was born, a healthy, beautiful girl named Naomi. When Laura and Naomi came home a few days later, Ben could barely contain his excitement. He ran to the door, his eyes sparkling with anticipation. "Where is she?" he asked, bouncing on his toes. Laura carefully placed the baby carrier on the couch, lifting Naomi out for Ben to see. Naomi was tiny, her skin a warm caramel tone and her curls soft and dark. Ben stared at her, his expression unreadable. "Ben?" Tom asked, his voice tinged with nervousness. "What do you think?" Ben stepped closer, his small hand reaching out to gently touch Naomi's tiny fingers. For a moment, he was silent, his gaze fixed on his sister. Then, he looked up at his parents and said something that left them stunned. "She's perfect," he whispered. "God made her exactly how she's supposed to be." Tom and Laura felt tears welling up in their eyes. In that simple statement, Ben had captured a depth of understanding and love far beyond his years. "And," Ben continued, his face lighting up with a mischievous grin, "she looks just like chocolate pudding. I love chocolate pudding." Laura burst out laughing, pulling Ben into a hug. "Oh, Ben, you're going to be the best big brother." Over the next few weeks, Ben's love for Naomi grew stronger every day. He insisted on helping with everything: diaper changes, bottle feedings, and even singing lullabies to her. One afternoon, as Laura watched Ben play peekaboo with Naomi, she felt a deep sense of gratitude. Despite the challenges they might face as a multiracial family, their bond was already unshakable. Tom, sitting beside her, said, "He's going to protect her with everything he's got. You can see it in his eyes." As Naomi grew, the Carters faced moments that tested their resilience. At a playground one day, another child pointed at Naomi and asked Ben, "Why doesn't your sister look like you?" Ben frowned, stepping protectively in front of Naomi. "Because she's my sister, and that's all that matters." Laura, overhearing the exchange, felt her heart swell with pride, but it also reminded her and Tom of the importance of preparing their children for a world that might not always be kind. At home, they had regular family conversations about diversity, kindness, and standing up for what's right. Ben absorbed these lessons eagerly, determined to be the best brother he could be. Years passed, and Naomi blossomed into a lively, curious child with an infectious laugh. She adored Ben, following him everywhere and mimicking everything he did. One evening, as the family sat around the dinner table, Naomi announced, "Ben is my superhero." Ben grinned. That's because superheroes always protect their little sisters. Tom and Laura exchanged smiles, knowing they had raised two children who truly understood the meaning of love and family. The Carters' story began to inspire those around them. Friends, neighbors, and even strangers often commented on the strong bond between Ben and Naomi. The family became advocates for fostering inclusivity and celebrating differences, speaking at local schools and community events about their experiences. Ben, now a teenager, often shared his perspective. "Naomi taught me that love doesn't have a color. She's my sister, my best friend, and my favorite person in the world." Naomi, beaming beside him, would always add, "And Ben taught me that being yourself is the best superpower." As the years went on, the Carters' story remained a testament to the power of love and acceptance. Ben and Naomi grew up to pursue their dreams, always supporting each other along the way. At Ben's high school graduation, Naomi stood proudly in the audience, cheering louder than anyone else. "That's my big brother," she yelled, waving a sign she had made herself. And when it was Naomi's turn to graduate years later, Ben returned the favor, shouting, "That's my little sister, the future president." Their bond, forged in love and strengthened through challenges, became a guiding light for everyone who knew them, proving that family isn't defined by appearances, but meet the connections we nurture and the love we share. As Ben and Naomi grew older, they became even more aware of how the world viewed them differently. Though they loved each other deeply, society didn't always see them as a typical family. There were moments when strangers asked intrusive questions or made insensitive comments about Naomi's skin color compared to Ben's. At first, Naomi would look to Ben or her parents for reassurance. One day at a grocery store, a woman asked, "Are you sure you're siblings? You don't look alike at all." Naomi looked at the woman, then at Ben, and replied confidently, "We're more than siblings. We're best friends. That's what matters." Ben smiled proudly and gave Naomi a high five. "Exactly," he said. "Family isn't about looking the same. It's about loving each other." The Carters took these experiences as teachable moments, both for their family and for others. They began sharing their story at community events, raising awareness about the importance of diversity and inclusivity in families. Tom and Laura often spoke about the joys and challenges of raising children in a multiracial household. At one event, Ben took the stage to share his perspective. "When I met my sister for the first time, I didn't think about how different we looked. I thought about how lucky I was to have her in my life. That's what family is, choosing love over everything else." Naomi, now old enough to join him, added, "And Ben taught me that it's okay to be different. Being different makes us stronger. Their speeches resonated deeply with audiences, inspiring families from all walks of life to embrace and celebrate their unique stories. As they entered their teenage years, Ben and Naomi pursued their individual passions, but always remained each other's biggest cheerleaders. Ben, who had developed a love for biology, dreamed of becoming a doctor. Naomi, with her vibrant personality and love for storytelling, set her sights on becoming an author. One evening, as Naomi sat at her desk, struggling to write the first chapter of her book, Ben walked in and placed a plate of cookies beside her. "What's wrong?" he asked. "I can't get the story to feel right," Naomi admitted, her voice frustrated. "What if no one likes it?" Ben pulled up a chair and smiled. "You've got this, Naomi. Just write from your heart. And remember, even if the whole world doesn't like it, I'll be your #1 fan." Naomi hugged him tightly. "Thanks, Ben. You're the best." The siblings' bond was tested again in high school when Naomi faced discrimination during a debate competition. A judge made a dismissive comment about her abilities, implying she didn't belong there. Naomi held her head high during the competition, but broke down in tears afterward. When Ben heard what had happened, he was furious. "No one gets to talk about my sister like that," he said, standing beside Naomi. Together, they filed a complaint, sparking a conversation within the school about equality and respect. Naomi's courage in speaking up led to the implementation of diversity training for teachers and staff, ensuring a more inclusive environment for future students. Years later, the Carters gathered for Ben's college graduation. As he walked across the stage to receive his diploma, Naomi cheered the loudest, holding a sign that read, "Dr. Ben, best big brother ever." After the ceremony, Ben hugged his family tightly. "I couldn't have done this without all of you," he said. Turning to Naomi, he added, "And especially you, little sis. You've always been my inspiration." Naomi beamed. "Well, you've always been my superhero." When it was Naomi's turn to graduate from college, she had a special surprise for Ben. Her first book, My Big Brother, My Hero, had been published just weeks earlier. The story, a heartfelt tale about their bond, had already become a bestseller. At her graduation party, Naomi presented Ben with the first signed copy. "This is for you," she said, tears in her eyes, "for always believing in me." Ben hugged her tightly. "You didn't need me to believe in you, Naomi. You've always had everything you needed to succeed. I'm just lucky I got to be part of the journey." As adults, Ben and Naomi decided to use their experiences to give back to their community. Together, they started a nonprofit organization called Family First, which provided resources and support for multiracial and adoptive families navigating societal challenges. Through workshops, mentorship programs, and storytelling events, the siblings helped families build stronger bonds and celebrate their unique identities. Their nonprofit quickly gained recognition, and the Carters' story became a beacon of hope for others. One day, while visiting a local school as part of their nonprofit's outreach program, Ben and Naomi met a young boy who reminded them of their childhood. He was shy and hesitant to share his story, but when Naomi asked him what made him special, he replied, "I don't think I'm special." Naomi knelt beside him and said, "Everyone is special in their own way. And you know what? Sometimes it takes time to see it, but it's always there." Ben added, "And having someone who believes in you makes all the difference. Do you have someone like that?" The boy nodded slowly. "My sister." Naomi smiled. "Then you're already ahead of the game." Decades later, Kermir, the Carter siblings, remained as close as ever, their bond stronger than time. They often reminisced about their childhood, laughing about the moments that had shaped them and reflecting on the lessons they had learned. At a family reunion, surrounded by their parents, children, and grandchildren, Ben turned to Naomi and said, "You know, when I first met you, I thought you looked like chocolate pudding." Naomi laughed. "And you still haven't stopped calling me that." "Never will," Ben said with a grin. "Because you've always been the sweetest part of my life." As their family celebrated around them, the Carters' story stood as a testament to the power of love, resilience, and the unbreakable bond between siblings, proving that family is defined not by appearances, but by the hearts that connect us. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more inspiring and heartwarming content. Share this video with your friends and family to spread the love, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'll see you in the next video.